The USCIS has been approving some cases in under 3 months. So what are these couples doing differently? By the end of this video, you'll learn the common strategies used by couples getting approved in no time, so you can avoid getting stuck in immigration limbo for years to come. We've helped many couples get through this process efficiently, like our recent members who got approved in only 51 days, and also Josh and Andrea. If you want to get this done right while saving yourself a ton of time, you can speak to us directly by using the link in the description below. Now, let's get into the first thing you need to know. The first thing is to ensure that little to no mistakes are made before or even after you start your case. Preferably, you don't want to make any mistakes for one major reason. It doesn't matter if you make a small or big mistake, because either way, the USCIS will issue a request for evidence, which automatically delays your progress. However, we've had members get erroneous RFEs for no mistake of their own and still got approved incredibly fast. By using a strategy we'll be sharing at the end of this video. But there are some common mistakes you will want to be aware of. First, it's not a good idea to use Form G1450 to allow the USCIS to charge your credit card for the filing fees. This is because it's a super common issue that banks will either flag the transaction as fraudulent and block it, or when the fees are finally and randomly charged, there isn't enough money on the card to cover it and the transaction fails. When this happens, that's it. The USCIS will reject your case, send it back to you, and you'll need to resubmit everything. And the worst part is that it often takes weeks and even months to receive your case back. You will likely have to go back to your doctor to get a new sealed medical exam, and you will need to submit the whole package again. But so much time will be lost and too much stress will be experienced. So you're going to want to make sure to use a guaranteed payment type like a cashier's check. Another super common mistake is incorrectly calculating the household size on Form I-864, or getting the household size wrong between Forms I-864 and I-45, since both forms ask for that info. This is extremely important because of how seriously the USCIS considers their financial requirements. And household size is important because it determines the minimum required income of the US citizen sponsor. So know that the household size is determined by the number of people financially dependent on the sponsor. For example, for a US citizen, their foreign partner, and an elderly parent who is financially dependent on the US citizen, the household size would be 3. Or the citizen sponsor, their foreign partner, and someone else who they may be prepared Form I-864 for, the household size would also be 3. From this number, you can use the USCIS poverty guidelines, which we've included in a link below, to determine if you meet the income requirements or potentially need a joint sponsor. And the final mistake is not including the latest edition of each form. Now, the USCIS randomly releases new editions about every 6 months or so. You could be working on these forms for a month or two, and right before you submit, they issue a new edition of whatever form. If you don't double check yourself prior to submission or your lawyer's submission, you're guaranteed to get a request for evidence. This is exactly why our Marriage Immigration Method program was designed to efficiently guide you through your entire marriage immigration all in one place. It's our job to pay attention to all these frequent changes, and we always notify our members ahead of time so they don't need to worry about missing even the smallest detail. Connect with us today by scheduling a free call using the link below. Now, preparing and submitting a marriage green card case is just the beginning of your journey of dealing with the USCIS and immigration. Thankfully, we've discovered an amazing hack that can save you a bunch of time, so be sure to save this part of the video. And this trick is to reschedule your biometrics appointment. After you submit your application, in about 2 to 4 weeks, the USCIS will send you a receipt notice confirming they have received your application. And about 4 to 8 weeks after you submit your case, you'll receive a biometrics appointment notice. This notice will include the date, time, and location of your biometrics appointment, where you will provide fingerprints, a photograph, and signature. The appointments are usually scheduled quite far into the future. Well, we share within our program that from your USCIS online account, which you can also create way ahead of receiving any physical notices, you can reschedule your appointment for a much earlier date, normally the next day. And by doing this, a few things happen. First, you save the time that would have been wasted if you waited until your originally scheduled date. Check out the timelines of our members who implemented this strategy to gain huge time savings. And with your biometrics completed, the USCIS often issues work permits right away, which means you reduce the lost opportunity cost because you can now work and get started making money. Plus, you also can get your social security number, which is very important. Moreover, completing your biometrics allows the USCIS to continue processing the rest of your application. And the next tip to speed up your case is to create a USCIS online account as soon as possible and check it frequently. And here's a pro tip. You will want to create one for the intending immigrant and the US citizen spouse. This is because of what happened to one of our members. As you can see, our member was issued an erroneous notice of intent to deny without first issuing a request for evidence. But the crazy part is that the USCIS did not post this notice in the immigrant's account. No, they posted it inside the US citizen spouse's account. The USCIS often does sneaky stuff like this, wasting people's time. We suspect that it's because it's an easy way to trip up couples and cause them to miss important notices or deadlines, so the couples ultimately need to refile and start over or appeal. Getting this notice as soon as possible is very important because you can start preparing a response ASAP as well. That's why our program teaches couples to open online accounts for both spouses and for them to regularly check them for this exact situation our member encountered. But that's not the only reason to open up an account. Not only can you avoid being tricked by the USCIS and reschedule your biometrics for an earlier date, there's another major advantage that you need to know. Through your online account, you'll be notified the moment any requests for evidence or notices of intent to deny are issued, well before the paper notices arrive in your mailbox. You would always see that the RFE was issued right away, but it might take a few days for the actual RFE letter to be uploaded to your online account for you to understand exactly what they're asking for. Why is this important? Because of another trick to speed up your case that our program includes. And that is that you can actually respond to these official notices the same day they show up in your account. If, for example, you didn't have an account, you'd need to wait for the notice to come in the mail, which takes at least a couple of weeks. And that means your case has been placed on hold from the moment they issued the notice, the entire time it was being delivered to you, while you or your lawyer is preparing a response, and all the way until the USCIS receives that response and determines that it resolves the problem. The advantage of the online account is that you can also submit your response here ASAP. This is especially important since you're given a limited amount of time to respond to these notices before they deny your case. And finally, one of the best tricks to speed up your case is to submit your account with additional bona fide marriage evidence. Doing this also happens to require an online account. But how does supplementing your account with additional evidence help speed up your case? Because you're updating your case, showing developments in your relationship, as well as showing proactive participation in the process. Additionally, it always looks good to have more evidence that shows your genuine relationship because this is the ultimate foundation of your case. You ideally want to submit your case with big life events, such as the birth of your child, purchase of a house or car together, new financial records, and etc. The biggest reason and why this speeds up your case is because you're providing serious evidence to the reviewing officer and reducing the likelihood of them opting to send you a request for evidence or scheduling an interview where you'd end up bringing that evidence with you anyway. By submitting it as a supplement, you're ensuring that you're strengthening your case and not leaving to chance any possibility of having your case delayed. And since we still encourage couples to submit forms I-130 and I-45 together on paper, this is a question that often comes up. How will I be able to supplement my application with additional evidence if I'm filing everything on paper? Wouldn't it be possible only if we submitted the I-130 online? And the answer is no. You can supplement your case even when you file everything on paper, so long as you both create your USCIS online accounts. Now like this video and we'll see you next time.